Hi and welcome. So first of all, thank you so much for checking out this video, and I hope you had a great start into 2023. I'm pretty excited and honored that GPU Audio picked me as one of the official channels to announce their upcoming IR competition. So with this being said, thank you so much GPU Audio for sponsoring this video. So what is this competition about? First of all, there is a $6,000 prize pool, including a top spec laptop, GPUs, software, sample packs, and much more. And the competition itself is sponsored by none other than Nvidia, AMD, Scan.co.uk, Sonible, Bedroom Producer Blog, Music by Lucas, and Present Day Production. It is open to Mac and Windows users, and now let's get into what you have to do to participate. So let's talk about these 3 steps to participate first, and then let's head into an example of how, well, you have to create what you have to create for this competition. Okay, so first step, register an account at gpu.audio/AlexPfefferIR. By the way, I wrote down all the steps in detail down in the video description. Step number 2, create an IR, an impulse response using any method you like. It could be hardware, could be software, could be natural spaces. Next up, you need to download a specific sound pack. I also put the link down in the video description. Okay, and step number 3, now you need to upload your IR processed sounds from that sound pack to YouTube using the hashtag GPU Audio IR, and then send your IR a description of how it was made from your registered email address to ircompetition@braingens.com. Again, you can find all of these steps precisely written out in the video description. Most important, the giveaway will end on the 16th of February 2023. And also please note that the free GPU Audio plugin pack will be available on this date. And in case if you need to know how to create an impulse response, I will show that to you right now. So first of all, what is an impulse response? It's basically a snapshot of a room, an effect, a guitar amp, or other audio sources that can replicate, let's say, a specific sound behavior. So let's say you want to capture a specific reverb from hardware or a live room, a guitar amp, and use it as a plugin for various reasons. Okay, so now let's get into this here. So first of all, if you are on Windows, you have to download the Deconvolver by Voxengo. And if you are on Mac, you can use MLS Tool by WaveArts. So I'm on Windows, I will use Voxengo Deconvolver, and once you install the software and open it up, it looks a little bit like this. So the first thing you have to do is go down to the test tone generator here and generate a test tone by leaving everything as it is. Bit depth is 24, sample rate is 44.1, channel is mono, duration is 3 seconds, and simply hit generate. Now I already created a folder and I want to save my generated sweep file into this folder here. Hit save. And you can close this here, and let's minimize Voxengo Deconvolver. Now I'm going to import my generated sweep file here, and the first thing you want to do is reduce the volume down to -15, -12 dB something, because this generated sweep file can sound pretty nasty at 0 dB. Okay, so to keep this tutorial as simple as possible, because I want you to understand how to create an impulse response yourself, I will use an instance of Valhalla Shimmer. Again, you can use whatever you want. You can use hardware devices, you can use your guitar pedals, that is obviously hardware. You can also use plugins, reverb, distortion, delay, ring modulators, whatever you want. And again, if you have some great sounding natural spaces available, you can also make use of these too. Okay, so as for now, I want to use Valhalla Shimmer, but the thing is we have a mono sweep and we want to have it located in the room, and a reverb of course has to be or should be a stereo source. So what I'm doing right now is create a bus from this selected channel here and call it reverb. And then I'm going to put Valhalla Shimmer on this bus. So the next step that you want to do is raise the mix to 1 or full or 100% because you want to avoid phasing. And my impulse response now sits nicely in the room. Hopefully I also raised the volume a tiny little bit and it sounds like this. Okay, so the next thing that I do is a render of the sweep file with the applied reverb and import this track into the session to do some final adjustments. So here we go. Let's maximize this a little bit here and see, maybe we can cut this off here and do like a fade out. And if we listen to this solo, this is the reverb information only without the actual sound itself. Now I want to reduce the volume a tiny little bit, and then we can export this file for good. So let's export this. Let's call it Sweep Shimmer Final and not import it into the track and hit OK. So now let's head into the next step, and this would be to create our impulse response. So the first thing that is the most important, you have to pick the sound that you generated with that test tone generator here. So I have my sweep selected here. I can show you again now. Here we go into this. We pick this sweep file, and the next thing I'm going to do is pick the file folder and pick my final file, because this is the file with the sweep information without the original file itself, the 100% wet reverb signal. So I'm going to load that in here, and I only do one thing more, and this is hit process. So what happened right now when I hit process is that the deconvolver kind of like deleted the remains of the sweep file and now gives you an impulse response that you can use with whatever sound source you want. Okay, so I exported to the same directory, to the same folder here, and as you can see, there is a file with the same name, but with a DC at the end. This is our impulse response. So now we needed deconvolver to create our impulse response, and now we need a convolution plugin that can bring our impulse response to use. Now, when you have registered with GPU Audio, you will have access to the FIR convolver. So how do we import our impulse response? There is a little tweak that you have to do. You have to go over to Program Files, then Common Files, VST3, GPU Audio, EAP, Impulse Responses. I will put the link down in the video description on how to do this. And inside, you will not find these folders from 0 to 9. You will find some other impulse responses that you can export for now and put into another folder. Then you create these 9 folders here, and on the first folder here on the 0, I am importing our generated impulse response, and this is the file that you will hear right now when this dial wheel is set to 1. So folder 0 resembles preset 1, folder 1 is actually preset 2, folder 2 is preset 3, and so on. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now let's listen to 3 of the 15 files from that sound pack for the competition provided by GPU Audio. And let's listen to the signal first dry and then how it sounds with our new impulse response. Okay, so let's listen first to the dry signal. And now let's listen to our impulse response. And now let's be curious and load Valhalla Shimmer in here. So this is the same preset, except that I changed the mix now, and let's see how this sounds. Of course, there may be a few differences because you have problems finding the right dry-wet ratio, but I tried my best, and this is how it sounds like. So I would say it doesn't sound 100% identical, but given the fact that we just used that little plugin, that deconvolver, to just create our impulse response, it sounds pretty convincing and cool. Okay, so now let's quickly check these other 2 loops here. And with our impulse response. And here's the third one, dry, unprocessed. and with our impulse response. Okay, so that's it. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Thanks so much again to GPU Audio. I hope this video and the instructions were helpful. Good luck for that competition. And very soon I will check out submissions from you guys. So thanks so much, stay tuned, and see you soon.